Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the program. If you are watching on YouTube, hit that like button for us. Helps YouTube push our content out to more people. We'd certainly appreciate that. Big news today. The Lions have agreed to extensions with Amon-Ra St. Brown, making him the highest paid wide receiver in the league. 4 years, $120 million, $77 million guaranteed. Penei Sewell, the highest paid offensive lineman in the game right now. 4 years, $112 million. $82 million guaranteed. How about that? Let's talk more about this with Mike O'Hara of DetroitLions.com. Mo, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fine. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely. Loud and clear, buddy. Loud and clear. So the Lions get a couple of extensions done today. Mike, your reaction to extensions for Amon-Ra and Penei Sewell?
Well, you can't say it's about time because they did it, really the first chance they got. And I think they did the right thing. You know that these are going to be your guys for the next however long. Why drag it out either on your side or on the player's side? Get it done when it's something. There's just an obvious thing to be done there, and they did it right.
Mike, I think for a lot of people, Amon-Ra St. Brown specifically, this fourth-round player that has come in here and really just been that guy from day one in his work ethic, in how he feels about the city and the locker room. He's a leader. And I guess you could say the same for Sewell too, but, a bit different being a first-round pick compared to a fourth-round pick. Just what do you make? You're around Amon-Ra St. Brown the last 4 years or so. What is unique about that player that has just come in here and taken over?
Well, he had kind of a tough start, and it don't mean like he was going to be a flop or anything like that. But they had trouble getting the offense started when he first got there. And I remember saying to Tim Twyman one time, it was like week 3 or week 4. I said, they just don't seem to be able to get anything done right now. Not saying he was a flop or anything like that, but just how tough it was to get things started. And next thing you know, they're 0-8-1 and going nowhere. But gradually things started coming together, and you could see that this young man had some special talents and special abilities, and just the way he worked. And by the end of that season, he had in the high 900s in yards, receiving yards, and that was just the start of where he was going. He improved really in big jumps there in his second year and his third year and his last year. The Lions going 12-5 and to the NFC Championship game, and he was really a force in that. He, I think, was it 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns in the regular season, and just a really quiet but noticeable leader on that team.
Hey, Mo, brother, never sir, man. Always good to see you and always good to talk to you. In this case, how you doing?
Hello, Cleveland. How are
you? New York Jets, man. Until the Cleveland Browns pick up the phone and call me, I'm a New York Jet. Jet for life. But
come on, you can't do that.
Yes, I can. The New York Jets, they reach out to me. They invite me to games. They invite me to alumni games. Meanwhile, Cleveland, I have no connection since they traded me in 2009. I'm not bitter over it. I don't have connection. That's all.
Well, I can tell you're not.
Hey, look, I said New York Jets, you said Browns.
Hold on a second. We're not done yet. I'm
okay,
not done with you.
Go ahead.
I'm one block from where you grow up right now. This minute.
Green Acres, baby. Green Acres.
Yeah, gotcha. So what can I do for you if it's very little?
No, it's true. You can do a lot. Just excited about the contract extension of Amon-Ra St. Brown, 4 years to the tune of 120, well deserved. Just talk about what the Lions are doing and what they're showing players that they'll be potentially drafting tomorrow and Friday and Saturday. In my estimation, hey, look, we're going to take care of our guys. You come here, you play, we'll take care of you. That usually doesn't happen in any sport, especially football. Guys prove themselves time and time again, but still don't get the reward. What are the Lions doing different and why?
Well, I don't know about what's different, but they don't. An old timer one time said to me, "Don't start a fight in an empty room." And the Detroit Lions, with this group of people, with this iteration of their management, starting with Sheila Fordham, and right on down the organization, they don't pick fights. They shoot you square. They look you right in the eye when they're talking. Tell you what, that's the way they deal with their players. So the players know basically where they stand, and there's just no there's no like needless drama or anything like that. That stuff will take care of itself. And obviously, at a very high level here today, you saw the rewards of that.
Yeah, man, I'm just excited because I'm more so looking at it from the standpoint that, in organizations, you have guys that play and they go above and beyond their contract, man, but they don't get the dollars. And then that leads to what? That leads to guys scrubbing their social. That leads to guys, making some rumblings. That leads to friction. That leads to guys not playing the same. They're nipping that thing in the bud right away. Say, hey, look, you balled out 3 years. It's time to get paid. And I think you're showing other guys you get drafted to that team if you play. I'm more excited as a guy drafted now watching that model versus watching a situation like Justin Jefferson in Minnesota or watching something else where I'm like, why won't they pay their guys? Their guys have clearly performed outside the contract. Why won't they pay them? But the Lions, I can't wait to get to camp. I can't wait to get boots on ground and watch film because I see they care about their players.
Yeah, and I think that players understand that not everybody's going to make the same amount of money. Some guys are going to make more than others. But if it's straight, like I said, if you're straight with them, they understand that too. And and would they like to make more? Everybody would like to make more. They really would. Even it's just the nature of it, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Talking to Mike O'Hara, DetroitLions.com. And Mike, talking about shooting players straight, I totally agree with that. And, Adam Schefter came out just moments ago and said, I think, for a lot of us, even us and Maz was speculating, watch, Jared Goff's extension be announced later today too. And I think that was what we all thought when we saw Amon-Ra and Sewell watch Goff be next. Adam Schefter comes out and says the two sides have talked, but they are nowhere near a deal. It's not close. It's not imminent. But regardless of that, Jared Goff is probably the least surprised person about that because they do shoot these guys straight. They're upfront with these guys. Do you agree with that about Jared Goff? And he's probably not surprised or anything like that, they're probably not close right now.
I'd be surprised if he was surprised.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, they don't just come out and hand you the money. That's not good business at all either. There's got to be a way you operate, and Jared's got a year left on his contract, but there are also some other mechanisms in there that you can keep him in Detroit another year or two. So it's not like there's any urgency to get him under contract like today or tomorrow or whatever. There's time is on both sides, for both sides. Things will get done when they get done. And Jared did a media session with the media. I think it was last week or a week before. I don't remember right now. All this stuff kind of runs together, but he said that he's pretty sure things will work out. They've talking a little bit, or maybe even more than a little bit, on both sides. But he said he likes the way things are moving, and he said he knows where he stands.
Is part of that lack of urgency on the Lions' part, Mike? And I guess you'd really never know until the guy gets into a game. But do you think they know what they have in Hendon Hooker?
I think they know to a point, but they certainly haven't seen him play. Now, they've seen him what he did in college before he got hurt, but it's a different game. It really is. It's a completely different game. In some regards, though, the quarterback position, not maybe quite as different as it used to be. Now the quarterbacks have a lot more freedom to look. When I first started covering the Detroit Lions back in that time, a running quarterback was not an asset. It was a problem. You wanted your guys to stand there on a quarterback, stand in the pocket and pat the ball, and finally throw it. If he took off running, people kind of joked about him. Well, that's different now. It's a different style of quarterback, completely different. That's they want you to be able to run the options and all that other stuff, or if you can anyway, I should say. Then that's considered an asset. And that's completely different than, say, 30 years ago, the way they were how they were, a quarterback, I should say, was viewed if he was prone to running out of the pocket.
Mike, let me ask you about the draft. And there's so many players. I'm not going to ask you who they're going to take or anything like that. It seems like it's such a crapshoot. But, with the offensive line, Taylor Decker, Frank Ragnow, Zeitler, this is the identity of their team. Is offensive line, do you think, above corner, above wide receiver? Do you think that is if you had to weight the positions of need on this team, potentially, first round pick, what would you say?
Well, the three you mentioned, a wide receiver, quarterback, and an offensive lineman. Now, the offensive lineman are three spots. There's a center, there's a guard, and two guards, and two tackles. So it depends on which one. If you're making a choice, where do you, which one do you want? Do you want the center? Do you want the quarterback? Quarterback. If you want the center, do you want the guard, or do you want the tackle? But to me, those three, I would take. If it were me, I would take any one of those three. Which one made the most sense at the time available? And if it's an offensive lineman, fine, take him. If it's a cornerback, take him. If it's a wide receiver, take him.
More likely scenario, Mike, in both Dan Campbell talked about it today and Brad Holmes talked about it earlier in the week about trading out of the first round. You've got hundreds of thousands of Lions fans downtown waiting until 11 o'clock, 11:30, and pick number 29 comes up, and the commissioner comes to the podium and says, the Detroit Lions have traded out of the first round. Can you imagine that scenario? Do you believe it's more likely that they trade up or trade back?
Well, first of all, I think it's more likely that they stay put.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Fair enough.
A narrow margin.
That's my guy.
A narrow margin. But if let's put it this way: if they trade out of it, I want to see what happens down there. I think it'd be kind of maybe fun to watch the reaction of the fans on that one if that's what they do. But look, I think most people, if they're football fans, they understand that you're not trying to fool the fans. You're trying to build the best team you can. I think they would realize that.
Hey, Mo, last question from us. And, we've talked so much about picks and moving back and moving up or staying put. By the way, that's why you're my guy, because I said stay put as well. I don't think you need to move up or back. I think you're in a great space and a great draft. Stay put. So I like that, Mo. What are you looking forward to most? I mean, hey, we keep talking about the draft like it isn't downtown Detroit, like it isn't straight down Woodward if you're headed that way. What are you most excited for as it relates to the city, the draft, and it just being here?
That's a good question because, I think this is sort of, I'm not saying it upsets me or anything like that, but it's sort of a feeling among some people that they've never been downtown in Detroit before, that this is a major event and we don't get many of those. That's all we get in the spring and the summer and the fall is events in downtown Detroit, the Jazz Festival and many more. So it's not like Detroiters aren't used to being in downtown Detroit. They're there all the time. And it's the way that area has been developed in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. So what I'm looking forward there, just let it be surprised. Just let it come to let the drama as a fan. Let the drama come to me. Let me look at it and process it myself, and I'll tell you how I feel after I see it.
All right.
Mike O'Hara, we cannot thank you enough for your time. Happy draft day to you, and probably be at the facility over there in Allen Park, I'm sure. Hopefully you get down to the draft at some point this week, but if not, you can watch it on TV with everybody else. Thanks, Mike.
How did you know I was going to do
that? Something tells me that's what's going to be the case. Check out Mike on DetroitLions.com. Great coverage there from him and Tim Twentyman and the entire digital team over there at DetroitLions.com. Mike, thanks, buddy.
Family.
All right.
Great stuff. You bet. No doubt.